like we see in times of crisis, when somebody feels victimized for the very first time, when something happens to make someone feel uncomfortable and maybe unable to take care of themselves or their family or their property, when this happens for the first time, it's not uncommon for somebody to have that epiphany that many of us have already known for a long time, and that is that you and I are the people that are absolutely 100% responsible for our safety and for that of our family and our property. We are the first responder when something bad happens to us. If you're one of those people that have had this epiphany recently and you're a new firearms owner, this video is for you. There's a lot of uncertainty that's going on right now. There are a lot of things that we don't know that we'll be learning in the future. This virus that's going around, there's a lot of debate as to whether we're taking it too serious and overblowing things, or that we're not taking it serious enough and we're in a lot of trouble. We're going to know the answer to that very soon, and I hope that we're doing everything we can to be as smart as we can about it. But one thing that we do know today, one thing that absolutely is certain, is just like we see regularly in a time of crisis or even a perceived crisis, firearm sales are up. Firearm sales are way up. And of those sales, the sales to new purchasers, first-time gun buyers, is way up as well. And there are a lot of things that you need to know about firearms ownership that may not just be common sense things. They're typically things that are passed on from generation to generation, and they're things that need to be learned. And if no one has shown you this path in the past, it's important to look into it now. As a new firearms owner, as somebody that's new to firearms, maybe this isn't even your first firearm, but it's the first firearm that you've consciously purchased with the thought that you may need to be responsible for your own self-preservation at some point. So there's been an epiphany. There are a lot of things to learn. The first thing that you're really going to find is that you've been fed a lot of lies in the past. There are a lot of things about firearms and firearms ownership with function and ballistics and laws, and the list is endless, that is simply not true. And that's going to be extremely frustrating for a period of time until you're up to speed a little bit. Now, contrary to popular belief, we're not divided in this country between pro-gun people and anti-gun people. There are definitely people at both sides of this, but there is a massive section of non-gun people. People that are neither pro-gun or anti-gun, just people that simply haven't really given it a whole lot of thought because they haven't believed that it pertained to them up until this point. Those non-gun people don't know when the truth is being stretched or when there's a fallacy they're being fed. They don't know when an absolute lie is a lie, especially if it's presented in a way to sound reasonable when someone lies to you on purpose. And there are an awful lot of lies out there. Now, one lie that's come to surface with a lot of people right away is this foolishness about being able to buy guns over the internet or exploiting some kind of gun show loophole or buying guns under the table. If you're a new firearms purchaser, you may have just found that purchasing a firearm through legal channels is nowhere near as simple as the anti-gun people make it out to be. There's a lot of paperwork. You're putting yourself at risk of perjury if you lie on that paperwork, and there are background checks at absolutely every single gun shop you go to. If the gun shop owner doesn't get the command to proceed on the gun sale, there are two options. One of them is to deny the sale, and the other is hold. And hold means they're going to, it's different in each area, so I'm not going to give you a time frame that's specific, but federally, typically have 3 days to allow them to finish doing the background check, and if it hasn't been done, you can come back in 3 days and pick that firearm up. Now, again, some states are different. I don't know where you live or what the law is. It may be a lot longer than 3 days, I don't know. But something that happens an awful lot and nobody has wanted to admit it in the past, and they've actually outright lied about it, is there are a lot of false denials that happen. A lot of people go to purchase a firearm doing everything correct, no criminal record, all of the right identification, and they're denied. Only because their name is similar to somebody that's prohibited, or a social security number is similar, or a driver's license number is similar. You get denied. At that point, you're not allowed to exercise a right anymore. You lose your right to purchase a firearm until you can prove that you're not a prohibited person. And in a time like today, when you want a firearm and you want to start learning about it and training with it, and you want the ability to protect and defend your family, starting a chain of letters with an attorney and the Department of Justice to prove that you're not a criminal and you shouldn't be denied that right isn't a very logical or viable option. Another lie that you're going to run across right away, if you haven't already, is more specific to the performance of a firearm. The way that these guns are purported in the media is absolutely not truthful at all to the way that they really function. Before you purchase a firearm, a specific gun by name, and expect it to function in a particular way, please talk to the gun shop owner. Talk to the clerk at the gun shop. Let them know what you're looking for a gun, what it is that you want to do with it, and they may have some suggestions as to what is a decent gun for you. Because if you buy a gun believing something that you saw in the media, chances are pretty high that it's not going to work like you believe it's going to at all. Firearms are very specific to the purpose that you want to utilize them for. There aren't very many one-size-fits-all firearms, and that is in the size, the type, the finish, the caliber, the style. Firearms are a very personal decision, and if you want a firearm to carry, to conceal on your person when you go out in public for self-defense, for self-preservation, that could be a whole different firearm than something you might want to purchase for hunting behind the old farmhouse. And having that conversation with the person at your local gun shop is going to be the best thing that you could ever do to make sure that you're getting something that functions the way you want it to. Something that's important to know with firearms, especially if it's going to be a carry piece for protection, is size matters. Size absolutely, unequivocally matters. And it doesn't follow the old adage of bigger is better. And in the case of some of the ladies, maybe that have smaller hands or a smaller frame, or maybe are a little bit nervous about a firearm, smaller is not always better either. So that's another reason to have that conversation with the local gun shop. You need a caliber that will accomplish the task that you wish to accomplish with it in a size that fits you, your hand, your body, that fits the carry method that you want to employ. So buying the biggest gun, even though, and when I say biggest, I mean most powerful. If you buy the biggest gun or the most powerful gun, if it's so big and cumbersome that it's not anything you can logically carry or would carry, it's not going to do you any good sitting at home, locked in a box on your nightstand. You need something that's going to be in between. A large caliber that accomplishes the task you wish it to, but is also small enough for you to be able to comfortably have with you, and something that you can comfortably use and utilize. And that, again, is another conversation that you should have with a local gun dealer so they can help steer you in the right direction. It's really not uncommon for a lot of new people to guns to walk into a gun shop and look at a case and think, well, that's cute. That's a cute little gun. I'd like to have one of those. That will work good for me, without knowing anything about it. How does it function? What caliber is it? Again, the size of the gun, something that looks cute, may be cute, but it may not do what you want it to. On the opposite end of that spectrum, walking in with your chest puffed up and saying, I want the biggest pistol you've got, might be a manly sounding thing to say, but probably the biggest pistol they have isn't going to let you accomplish what you want to accomplish with it. You've been lied to about ammunition types and styles your whole life. If you're not a firearms person, you have been lied to horribly. Hollow point ammo is something that's touted by the anti-gun movement and used in Hollywood a lot to be synonymous with armor piercing or just all kinds of ridiculous things. Make sure that you talk to the local gun shop to ask what type of ammunition is going to perform the best for you. Hollow point ammunition, since we use that as an example already, has no penetrating or over-penetrating capabilities at all. It's actually made to expand and dump its energy as soon as possible, not to just penetrate and carry through something. So that's one case where it's exactly the opposite of what the anti-gun people make it out to be, only because it sounds exciting and fascinating and scary, and that's typically what they're doing with their stories, is scaring people that don't know any different. So make sure that you talk with the local gun shop about the specific ammunition that you may need. There are a lot of accessories that go with firearms ownership, and the vast majority of them pertain to safety. It's always important to have eye protection. When you're shooting, anytime you can, please use eye protection, and have the people that are with you utilize eye protection as well. You don't want any ricochets coming back and damaging anyone's eyesight, and protecting your eyes has got to be very important. Hearing protection. You'll hear people talk tough and say, I don't need any hearing protection. I've been shooting for 30 years and I don't use hearing protection. You'll also hear them quite often say, huh? What? Because you're damaging your ears. The noise from a firearm when you don't utilize hearing protection is not only above the threshold of pain, but it's probably going to be above the threshold of damage. And it gets worse and worse over time. So don't mess around, get some good hearing protection as well. And again, utilize that for the people that are around you. A cleaning kit and the ability to maintain your new firearm is also important. You have the action that needs cleaning on occasion, you have the barrel that needs cleaning on occasion. It's actually a really simple, straightforward process, and a lot of people kind of enjoy it. After a day of practice or training out at the range, to be able to go through your firearm, clean it all up, make sure everything is oiled up and everything is nice and safe, so the next time you need it or want to use it, it's ready to go, is often considered something that's fun. It's actually pretty relaxing to be able to maintain it. And again, if you're new to this, you're going to find a lot of knowledge at your local gun shop, people that will be happy to help you learn. You're not going to have to learn to completely disassemble anything or do anything uncomfortable. A basic field strip and maintenance regimen is not difficult at all. It's usually quite straightforward, and someone will be happy to show you how that works. And since we're asking for advice from so many people, your local gun shop owners, your local gunsmiths, you're going to find that one of the biggest lies that you may have heard is that people are standoffish in the gun community. I have found personally there is no nicer, kinder, friendlier group of people than firearms owners. And a lot of these people become family, an extended family. People enjoy helping other people on their journey, on their transition into and through firearms ownership. It's a very social event to get together at the range to practice and train a little bit. And it's not unusual to hear someone say, there are no strangers in the gun community, only friends that you haven't met yet. You're going to find a lot of really nice people in this community, and a lot of them are really happy to help. Now, the local gun shop, as though we haven't mentioned it enough at this point, it's going to become obvious to you fast that it is really a hub of each community. A local gun shop is a point of information. It's a place to get together with friends. It's a place to learn about new things. It's a great place to listen for chatter or local gossip. There are a lot of really nice people at these local gun shops as a rule, and they serve a lot of purposes throughout the community. They work a lot with the police departments. They work a lot with the other first responders. If somebody needs help, you might even find somebody selling Girl Scout cookies outside the door at your local gun shop. A lot of them are really family oriented, and you'll find that out as well when you go to the range. Shooting is not the paramilitary, knuckle dragging goober event that the anti-gun people like to portray it as. It is a very family-friendly atmosphere, and a lot of new shooters are really happy when they find that out and find how well they're accepted and embraced into that community, and a lot of that nervousness and anxiety can be put to rest. And if I had one final piece of advice that I would give any new gun owner, or potential new gun owner, someone that's interested in making their first purchase, ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions. Don't assume anything. These are tools that are very safe when used properly, and if they're used improperly or used in an unsafe manner, they can be just as dangerous as any other tool. You wouldn't take a chainsaw home, never having utilized one before, and throw a sign on your truck that says logging company, You're going to learn how to use that tool and use it correctly. If you don't, you can get hurt. And a firearm is no different. It's just a tool, it's a machine, and you're in control of it. And when you take out all of the mystery and learn how to operate it, and it's very, very simple, a lot of the nervousness and the anxiety goes away. Ask a lot of questions about calibers and sizes and types and finishes. And remember, there's never a stupid question. Dealing with firearms, a lot of times, especially when you're dealing with the legal parts of it, common sense has absolutely nothing to do with it. Common sense with firearms in relation to legalese can get you in a lot of trouble. Ask somebody that knows. Ask your local gun shop. They're an important hub of communication, and you'll be welcomed with open arms. So if you're a new firearms owner, or you're considering becoming a first-time firearms owner, welcome aboard. Welcome to the community. Ask a lot of questions. You're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to have a lot of fun. And you're going to find that people are much more safety conscious than you may think going into this. There's a lot of great people in the firearms community. Pay attention to YouTube, but not too much attention. Talk to the people at your local gun shop. That's really going to be the best place for you to get good, solid advice. So I hope you enjoyed this short introduction to the firearms community. If you did, please click like, share us with your friends in your vast social media universe. Subscribe to the channel if you don't already, both on YouTube and on Full30. And if you just want to talk guns, ask questions, and have some good conversation, we're usually at Facebook at facebook.com/guntestvids every day. Till next time, have fun and be safe.